Just make sure we welcome. Okay,
We're overdue.
I know,
Because everyone tells me
And,
we're way overdue.
want to say, first of all, we could go
We just
into
ordered 25 tons of salt.
discussion. First, we do have a quorum, and we do have a quorum, so thank you. The second part of it is, I wanted to go into approval of the minutes right away. For the approval, October 31st minute. Do I?
Move the approval, Mr.
Is there
Chair.
a second? Is there a second? Good. I say all in approval, let's say approval, say aye.
Aye.
Very- Getting into discussion items, there's a little change in our agenda items, and the first tonight is going to be a presentation from Placer Data, Kevin Bryant. Possibly, would you give us a brief introduction, Jason?
Yeah, I can, Gordon, Kevin Bryant with Placer. Placer reached out to us recently, and they have a unique tool that they use, and from their presentation, Gordon, I kind of thought that maybe what the value they could bring might be more in line with what the marketing efforts are versus what the city does on a day-to-day basis. So, I followed up with them, and, I said that maybe if they came and gave their presentation at a marketing meeting, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, kind of explain, as y'all are getting into the budget year for next year, making budget decisions, it might be timely. So, with that being said, Kevin Bryant, with Placer is here, and I will let him explain in more detail what they do and what they might can provide with marketing efforts.
You can hear it up here, but
All right.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you everyone for having me. My name's Kevin Bryant. I'm with Placer. We're a location analytics company, and what I can do is I'll share my screen here. What I'd like to give you all is just a very brief overview on who we are as a company, kind of where we get our data, and then we can go live in the platform and show you what that looks like around Sky Valley specifically, and let you guys see what we do and see if it could help with the marketing, specifically being able to understand how many people are visiting Sky Valley and where they're coming from. And we can get that information down to the zip code. So if you are doing any marketing campaigns geared towards specific zip codes and you want to identify those and figure out where where you can have the most success for some of your marketing campaigns, or being able to understand how effective those marketing campaigns are, that's where we might be able to help. So let me see, I'm going to share my screen here. And I will be brief. I know you all have other items on the agenda today, so I want to be respectful of that. But so what we are is we're a location analytics company. So we leverage mobile location data, so think cell phones, to provide intelligence on any place in the US. We can tell you things like how many people are visiting a location at any given time, but also things like where they live, where else they like to go, even what roads they're taking to get there. And that place could be anything we draw a geofence around, so an individual business, a golf course, the city as a whole. We've been selling this data for about 8 years now. We work with over 4,000 customers across a lot of different verticals. Our largest and fastest growing vertical is civic organizations, so think cities, counties, economic development organizations. So just in Georgia, for example, some of the cities we work with, Fort Oglethorpe, Carterville, Cleveland, Georgia, Woodstock, Rockmart, Cedartown. So really cities large and small work with us. In terms of where the data comes from, we get it by partnering with dozens of mobile apps. So we'll put a piece of code on these partner apps, and when a user opts in to share their location, we can then track that device anonymously from there. So through that, we have this panel or sample of probably 25 to 30 million mobile devices that we can observe the behavior of. And we enhance that with a whole bunch of other third-party data sets like demographics and psychographics and things like that. We're constantly validating and backtesting this data for accuracy against any types of ground truth data sources. So for example, we work with a lot of large retailers like your Target, Dollar General, Best Buy. So they use our data for different kinds of purposes than cities do, but what they have is they have things like in-store counters and sales data that they can match up to see if our data is accurate. And we consistently find it to be that our estimates to be above 90% accurate. So some of these numbers that I'm showing you here for visits to Sky Valley, we can safely assume that they're about within about 10% of the actual visitation. So what that looks like, it's a web-based platform. So whoever on the marketing team or at the city would have access would just be able to log in and pull whatever info they want to see when they want to see it. So we've got some kind of different places indexed here already. If you wanted to get info on a specific location, it's just as easy as doing a couple of clicks and drawing the area that you want info on. For this example, we actually already have Sky Valley on the platform. So I'm just going to open up one of our reports around Sky Valley so you can see what that looks like. So for the city, what this is going to show us is for the last 12 months, this is going to show up, we estimate 285,000 visits to Sky Valley, Georgia, from 53,000 unique individuals. We get to these numbers based on our panel or sample of the 18 to 19,000 devices that we have this actual information on. Now, we're showing this, there's different other filters we can apply. We're showing people that were in the city for at least 10 minutes. We could do things like only show me people that stayed for at least 2 hours, or I maybe also want to include beyond just visitors, employees of the town or residents of the town. So there's different ways to slice and dice the data. This trend chart is going to show how that visitation changes over time. So if you want to get a sense of by the numbers, the seasonality or certain events, you can kind of see these ups and downs. So there was a huge spike on Friday, July 5th. There were 2,700 visitors to the town, right? So for 4th of July celebrations on September 1st, there were 1,800 visits to the town. So if you're ever trying to just quantify what that visitation looks like, we can help you do that in just a few clicks. From a marketing standpoint, I think one of the most interesting things is to understand where these visitors are coming from. And that's what this trade area section is going to help us with. So what this is going to do is this is going to take all those visits over the course of the year. And this is going to give us a heat map of their home location. So you'll see a lot of red, meaning a lot of visitors from nearby towns like Clayton and Riverside and Highlands. But this can be interesting when we look all across the country to get a sense of where people are coming from. So we see a lot of red in Florida, for example. A lot of people are coming from Orlando, from Tampa. And if you want to get more granular data on this, that's where this zip code breakdown is going to be helpful. So this will give us a breakdown of the home locations of those visitors over the course of the year and what zip codes are they coming from. So we could export this. I'm not going to do it now, but you could export a file like this into Excel or CSV, give that to the marketing team if you wanted to be more targeted. You could also look at things like year-over-year change. So what zip codes are you all seeing the biggest increase in visitation from? In this case, there was a big increase from Dillard, Georgia. From Tallahassee, Florida, there was a 239% increase in visitation. Highlands, North Carolina, Elm, Pennsylvania. So gives you some tools to get very granular on that kind of information. And then the final thing I'll highlight is this additional section of the platform called Travel and Tourism. This is going to look at overnight visitation to the city. So in the past year for Sky Valley, there were 32,000 overnight trips, meaning individuals that made trips that stayed for 101,000 nights. So they stayed overnight. And then we'll have a breakdown of where these visits are coming from. So by far the biggest area your visitors coming from are the Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta area. You have Tampa and St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida behind that, and then Orlando. So just giving you some real data to understand where the visitors are come from and how that might inform your marketing efforts. So I know I told Jason I wouldn't take more than 15 minutes. That's my quick 10. I thought maybe we'd save a couple minutes here just for questions from the committee.
Questions, I guess the cell phone, the base of the cell phone, many people have cell phones, it's not the cell phone where it originated from, so many times cell phone numbers, they live in Atlanta, but they got a cell phone area code in Texas. Is that, or how do you base your home?
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't do it by the area code or where the cell phone was bought. The way we determine those home locations is where the device rests. So if the device consistently goes to the same location overnight, say for a couple of months straight, we'll assume that that's a home location. So we do it by where the device goes, not maybe what the phone number is or anything like that.
Good question too.
Yeah, good.
Could you explain again exactly how the tracking takes place and how you assimilate this information from the cell phones so that I understand it?
Yeah, great question. So I think the way maybe we could personally relate to it is imagine you download a weather app or something like that, and you get that prompt on your cell phone where it says, would you like to share your location sometimes, always, or never? So for certain apps, for them to work well, people will say, share my location always. So for those types of apps that we have the partnership with, if they do the always share my location always, we can track that location all the time. Now, the only thing that we're tracking is location. So we can't say, oh, Jason came here from there, right? We can't do anything like that, or we can't tell you anything about the individual. We just have these massive files of latitude and longitude of anonymous devices. So that's all we track. Is we don't get any data other than the anonymous location data, but that's where it comes from. Someone downloads an app, says, will you share your location? And they say yes.
Good, thank you.
What percentage of cell phones are set to be tracked always?
Yeah, so for our panel, we get about 8% of the population, which is 25 to 30 million devices across the country. So that's what so like for Sky Valley, for example, for these 284 visits that we're estimating came to Sky Valley within the past year, we're getting these numbers from our sample of 18,500 devices that we have actual real data on. That's our baseline. We extrapolate that out to get to 284,000 total visits. And you could probably safely estimate this is within about 10% of the actual number, one way or another.
Do we know anything about the socioeconomic demographics of the people that allow full-time tracking?
That's a great question. So what we can do, if you're interested in the demographic information, is once we kind of figure out what we understand those home locations to be, we can tie that to census blocks and then use demographics about those census blocks to make estimates on what the demographics are like for those visitors. So, for this slice of the visitors to Sky Valley, we can give you estimates on households, median income, and different data sets like that.
Can you talk a little bit about the filters for residents and visitors and employees?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm looking at these numbers are just for visitors, for example. But we could change that to be employees or let's say we wanted to look at employees and residents only. And again, the way we determine that is, does the device consistently go to the same place during a work hour or the same place during, call it overnight? And then we'll say, okay, we think we assume this is a home location. So over the course of the year, we would estimate 187,000 visits to Sky Valley from employees and residents from a total audience of about 967 people. So I don't know,
So,
residents, about 1,000 residents and employees in town. Does that sound about right?
So I'm a little confused about employees. Let's say you have a contractor who's working on a house in Sky Valley for a year.
Yeah, that's a good point. So over the course of the year, at some point, I think they would have to be consistently going there for about 3 months. And then we would tag that as a work location for that employee. But then say they left town, you know, a month or two after leaving town, that would no longer be tagged as a work location for that device. So there would be a bit of a lag, call it 3 months from where we understand those home and work locations to be.
Kevin, as I looked at the information you sent us earlier, two things struck me. Number one was the number of children in Sky Valley, and we very seldom see children, but we know that there's school buses, but that number looked really high to me. And the other thing I noticed was that the income statistics made us look, you know, pretty average relative to the rest of Georgia. And my subjective feeling was that our incomes tend to be well above that. I've seen a statistic that we're the 16th wealthiest isn't the best word. I think it was income figures. We were very much, yeah. So, so I've got that little bit of dissonance. And I
Yeah,
don't know
that
what else that you might bring in.
Yeah, that's a good question because I do know Sky Valley is an affluent area. So maybe one of the limitations there is if we're tying visitors to these generic census blocks, we're looking at average income areas from those zip codes that they're coming from. And it could be that it's the wealthiest people from these out of town zip codes that are coming to town. So maybe our demographics are a little bit skewed that way. But that could be something I could talk to our technical support folks to maybe think about some different ways to slice this to make it more accurate. But that is a good point.
We're also sort of a high maintenance location. And most of the people can afford to maintain things, so we may very well have a higher percentage of tradesmen or repair folks coming in. I don't know, but in the winter, that's probably half our traffic,
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Would that be with, if their home base is outside of the area? Would you decide that, let's say, if you, I guess you filter that and say, where's their home base? Could you do that? Then we're getting quite a few higher numbers than we think we were getting, but of those, it might be, could you qualify it and filter it out so that the locals, tradespeople, whatever, so you get a more accurate number? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Kevin, can you do that?
So filter out. So we just look at residents or employees, or just look at employees that are coming from outside of the town, something like that.
Yes. Yes, so we're truly getting the visitor. Yes.
Yeah, we could. And actually, so like there are some things we could do. So here, so like for example, if I filter for residents only, that's going to give us some different kind of numbers. But yeah, so what we could do actually, probably the better thing to do would be,
Now, this is just information. It's not accurate, probably.
we could look, if we just wanted to look at visitors that came from at least 50 miles away
Yeah,
or something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we could say,
Muted.
so now I'm saying, okay, we're only going to look at visitors to Sky Valley whose home location is at least 50 miles away. So I would say what our strength is going to be is giving you total visitation numbers on any given day or over the course of time. and where they are coming from, where their home location is. I think because your town is a bit unique, those demographics are probably skewed to what your actual audience is like. But in terms of the number of visitors and where they're coming from, that's going to be our strong suit. So if that's something that you can work with, that's where we'll be able to help you.
Okay.
Kevin, do you have a golf app that you track?
Do we have a golf? Say that again.
Do you have a golfing app that you track?
I don't know. I actually, because it's so anonymized where we get our data from, I don't know if we partner with any golf apps. But what we could do in Placer is we could pull up a golf course and get visitation data to like a golf course. So it looks like someone had kind of carved out this section of a golf course at some point. But so in addition to just looking at visitation to the town, you could pull up a golf course and see how many people have come to the golf course over the course of a year. I don't know what apps we're partnering with to get the location data. It could have been a weather app. It could have been a Find Your Friends. It could have been who knows what, but so just for this like section of Sky Valley that was carved out kind of around a golf course, there were 42,000 visits to that area over the course of the past year from 14,000 different visitors. And again, we see a huge spike that 4th of July week again.
That's good information,
Yeah.
like, spike.
The other thing is cost, just approximate cost of something like this. Is it a contract, or how do you go about working with folks?
Yep, it's set up as an annual subscription, so it would be a minimum 1-year commitment. And then we base the price on the population of the city or the county that's going to be serviced. So that's why cities large and small can all use it, because the price changes based on that. So Sky Valley as a smaller city population wise, if you just wanted this data for locations in Georgia, you'd still be able to see where all the visitors are coming from. You would just only be able to pull this location for Sky Valley in any location in Georgia. That would be $6,000 for the year.
Very good. Thank you, Kevin. It's been very good. Any other questions, committee? We'll discuss it later on.
Man, correct. Kevin?
Yeah.
How available is all this information? Can we go and get this, exactly what you just said, at any time during the month, during the day?
Yes, that's a good question. So, yep, whoever on the city, the committee, whoever it is that gets access, anyone can get their own login, go in and pull as many reports as they want, when they want. In terms of the data, we have it as recent as 3 to 4 days ago. So if there was a big event in town, you could get that just 3 or 4 days later. And we go as far back as January of 2017. So if you want to look at how visitation has changed over time, that's how far back you can go. And it's very user-friendly, but I should have mentioned this. Your subscription would also include a customer success manager. So this would be a named individual in the US who would be there for product questions, onboard training. You could schedule time with them to say, we want to run our reports for the month. Let's get together for 30 minutes or an hour, and they'll help you run those.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Really appreciate the time. And yeah, I'll follow up with Jason when the time's right to get some feedback.
We'll get back to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. All right.
Comments on it? It's interesting. Yes. Very interesting.
Definitely intriguing. I think you could look at all aspects of things, and, you know, start looking at demographics and then pull those things and see it. You know, like you said, you have people that are up here just to do repair work in the winter, but then again, you do have other people that visit, so. Oh, it's pretty interesting that the price is pretty interesting. too.
Yeah. How would you use it, in this case? You're talking about Doug, yeah.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking in my head when I was hearing, this is great information, but then how do you use it, and
Yeah.
is it good enough for the price of the money? It's great information.
Well, it'll tell you where to advertise, you know.
That's a good point, yeah,
Yeah.
certainly, because we're reaching all the areas that he put on the map, pretty much Georgia and the southeast is who we market to, so,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd have to think about it a little more in terms of actual, pros versus cons. But you'd have to have somebody stand on top of it just to make sure we understood what we're doing, and I don't know if that's
Yeah.
every quarter, it certainly have to be every month, but come back with a report and say, okay, here we go, because it's not, it's just gonna be sitting there and we're spending $6,000 for nothing, you know, so we got that data.
Do we have the capacity to use that information?
Yes.
You have, I'm saying.
An interesting thing that we're doing this winter is transitioning to a different point of sale system. And the new system is gonna be a cloud-based system, but it's gonna have GPS and they have an app. So if they want GPS, or if they wanna order anything from like our snack bar while they're on the course, they're gonna have to download this app. And to use the GPS, they're gonna have to select their location. So if we did do this, every public person that used GPS, we would have their information and where they're coming from.
That's great,
Do you currently collect zip code data for people?
But we will next year.
Customers, so.
Yeah, our software right now is so outdated. We've tried to do that and collect addresses and stuff like that. It's a mess. So this system, when we put it in, it'll be a requirement to get the zip code and email, a phone number and full name to book a tea time. So we'll be able to do a lot more email marketing to public versus what we don't do anything now.
Can you tell us how many rounds we had last year?
Yeah, so we're right at under 18 right now, 18,000, about 11 of it was public, the rest was either golf members or members or staff.
So looking at the club as a timeshare and TOA, do you see how we can use this? And this would be the key, is price is right, we have some money, it's like at the same time, I don't wanna spend money if we aren't gonna use it.
What did you say it was, $6,000?
$6,000.
I would think the developer, do we have, what kind of rapport, do we have a relationship with the developer?
The realtors, yeah, both realtors in.
I would think that this sheriff point well taken, I mean, I would think the developer, if they're marketing at all, would really appreciate this kind of information.
Right, that's a good way to cost share.
I don't know, Gordon, whether we could joint venture it with the developer or anything like that, maybe pull those costs down. Depends on their interest, but, could be very beneficial.
Can we find out if maybe Ford Raven uses this?
I was fixing the same thing.
Because, what we pay them a year, it'd be nice to have.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a good
Well, I
point.
think real estate, like possibility, I mean, they would be interested in just knowing where their customer is coming from. But they might have their own way to collect data.
Right. Yeah, she is on the ball. What else is there, right? Well, maybe not. She's back. It was quick.
Think I was leaving?
No, we thought you were gonna go call CJ,
I'm texting her.
answer that question, so not that we need to know right now, but.
So the idea, I like the idea, the information come in, and the question is, 6,000, if we can share the costs with someone else, that'd be really perfect.
Sure.
And, we have to make a, somewhat decision on it. So if we can use the data, I think there's a way of doing it, I think it's.
And there may be some other vendors like them that are more reasonable. That's a little pricey, and there may be some places that we can get some information for free or much less, but
So how did you find out about them, if I can?
they just reached out to us.
Oh, they reached out.
They cold called and,
Okay,
they gave us a 10-15 minute presentation, and I just told the guys, said, look, for what we do for the day-to-day city, that's what that can probably help us.
all right.
But from a marketing standpoint, and that's when I reached out to you, Gordon, and said, maybe 15 minutes, but, again, I mean, it may be something that other entities wanted to contribute to, and we all have login credentials.
Sure.
Yeah.
It might be a reason.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I looked at it with where they incorporated that, 2017, they're out of California, I don't think they're a large corporation, but they are, and it's new technology, for sure. So, we're at this point, tell me what you would like to do, you're the committee, what do you think we should do?
Research.
Yeah, we should get contact with Forward Grade, see what they have it.
All right, so then we'll see what they have,
Feedback on
Okay.
it.
and then let's figure out another vendor, excuse me. I mean,
Yeah, I'd like to, where else can we get this information from?
Yeah, and I think we could compare their numbers with, I mean, I have a feeling that Timeshares knows a lot about visitation to Sky Valley, and if that would validate this information.
What about if, when the Ford Grade, they got a price on what it would be for the entire county? And that way they could look at how many visitors are coming to Clayton, how many visitors are coming at the various locations in the county, where those, developers or realtors could, target different clientele. So, I mean, it could help the whole county as far as development, and, why limit it to Sky Valley if you can get another accreditation? So, I mean, does that make sense, Sharon?
Yeah, and I'll ask her, after the meeting, I'll talk with her.
Thank you.
They certainly got a bigger budget than we do.
Yeah, well, I know they use geofencing for different, television promotionals, who's here, who's there, and for the different things we do with, what is it, 11, 2, and 5, those are the channels, something like that. And I know they use information with those, so I'll find out if it's just limited to those, or if she has something comparable that we could look at.
But maybe they have something in place.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing, maybe they did.
Yes.
She's never, I don't remember that, ever hearing it, but I'll follow up for sure.
But we don't do radio spots or television advertising.
Right.
If we did focus down like that, this would be really valuable.
Well, I think this goes to the next subject here with Doug, Hollinger, you're on. How do you see this gated, Doug? Could you, if we give this to you, is there a way that you can target some of your marketing efforts to Florida or areas where we're seeing this? Can you do that?
Yeah, sure. With my connections that I have throughout the Southeast, certainly we use this information to help them help us in terms of what they're doing already, but okay, can we do more? I like the idea, because I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about real estate here in a minute. So that could be, it could be valuable. Again, it's good information. Let's see what we can do in terms of finding another competitor.
Okay.
But again, then we'd have to say, okay, we're doing this, but what are we doing and how are we doing it? So it just not sits there for a year.
Yes.
Well, what do we get out of this? Well, we don't know what we got out of it. So
Yes.
we have to do some work to really make it work. Certainly I can do
Okay.
some of that, targeting outside, certainly. Anyway, so
Yes.
I think it's a great idea. I think we just need to do some, put it on, not hold, but just move along. Let's see what CJ says and
Okay.
we can go from there.
Well,
Go
I think if you did make a commitment, this is not a 1-year deal. I mean, first year, you may see a little bit, but it just, just have to keep marketing. So, I mean, it's just like these companies, they don't stop advertising after a year.
Exactly.
They're advertising all the time and trying to drive people to them.
This may help us. So you just said the state does tourism reports each year, and she has a copy of those. She could send them to me if I'd like. She said, I've never really subscribed or paid for a custom service, and I understand Placer is quite. So we may just see what she has and see if it can be, focused on certain areas, which I'm sure it can.
That's good. Certainly the state does that, so. Annual meeting every year, put out that type stuff.
But I mean, Ryan saw that the visitors, and he went to North Carolina to try to get more, right?
Huh?
You went to North Carolina as far as trying to advertise more in
Marketing.
marketing?
Yeah, I mean, we've restructured our marketing from where it was when I started. It's completely different now. Like, we're more in North Carolina and Macon County and Jackson County than we are in Raven. But that's more for membership. And then out of the 15 people that joined this year, I think 7 or 8 of them are all from Highlands. They're not from Georgia. So, but this winter, we're marketing to Raven County and Macon County because we're doing like a local special. So if you live in those counties, you get a $20 discount on golf through the whole winter. So we're marketing to both counties now for the winter, just to drum up some outside.
What's
business.
happening in Highlands is they're all private clubs, and those initiation fees are $100,000 plus.
Yes.
So, it makes Sky Valley look pretty attractive. And
Brian, where are you sending these? I mean, how does the public know about that?
So we did a thing with Clayton Tribune. We're doing one with Raven Neighbors and Macon Neighbors magazine and Lake Living.
But nothing social.
Laurel, didn't I see
We don't have
something?
our social media, we just Facebook page because our last admin assistant had the login credentials and we had to let her go last year. And so she wouldn't give us the credentials. So we have a Facebook page that has 3,000 people that are like it, but we can't even access it. So we ended up just another Facebook page and we're trying to grow that right now. Because Facebook won't, I mean, there's so many security features in Facebook, you can't even get.
Well, we don't have that linked to our, visit.
Yeah,
Sky
so
Valley,
it's, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
It's Sky Valley Golf and Country Club, not just Sky Valley Country Club.
They couldn't have their last check of this gate.
Well, we didn't think about it at the time. We tried to reach out to her, we offered to pay her. She's like, I don't know it, but we know she knows it because she was the last one to post on it. So we kind of stuck on that one. And they won't let you delete it because it's in her name, it's linked to her personal page.
These, just so you know, CJ said she can send me the files. She said it's rather large, but she said they're for 2023, which were just released in September. It takes them 8 months lag time, for the state, file that report. So no wonder it's free access.
It's always, I always tell you what they did last year. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, they can't tell you what they're doing next year.
Yeah, not unless they have a program like that, that's for sure.
Okay, Doug?
All right, we did not put any notes together because we just kind of want to summarize and then kind of tell you what some of the plans are for next year. Some of the things that we got, still going and, which I think is gonna be nice about send y'all, any day now. We have a brand new article coming out, that ties in Raven County as well, because I told CJ that, we're gonna start helping them if they help y'all more, okay? So, it's really gonna be nice and some nice pictures, and so it should be coming out any day, electronical, and then print comes out, in another week or so. So that's good. We're still doing the, sponsorship with the Golf One Media. That will continue. Good year in terms of who we got to reach out to, market to, new people. I've already got a list of people who I'm gonna talk to next month at the show, about coming up here, because I want to get some more people up here. One of the things I want to do next year is, we've done a good job in terms of promoting Sky Valley, the area, that type of stuff. We want to start leaning, not that I haven't done stuff, but start leaning more toward some real estate people, which basically means just gonna tell people who we know can come up here and buy lots or homes or anything like this. So Joey Johnson, who was up here a couple of years ago with the 4 guys that I brought in, he has Southern Fairways magazine. He's out of Mobile, Alabama. And so I've been talking to him lately about how can we do some real estate his wife is, I got for her right down here. She's really big down on the coast, on the Gulf Coast down there. Knows a lot of people, so I said, well, I know we have a lot of people that live all over Florida, okay? And so I'm not sure how many people live on the Gulf Coast. So I said, well, let's target that. So they're coming up with a plan that they can go into Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. And let's get these people who live down there to come up here to Sky Valley. And this will be part of the plan. We're gonna do it in many different marketing media ways. Hot, cold, get people who want to tell people about the Gulf Coast down there, what they have to offer. So we're gonna be doing some cross marketing, I guess you could say, with the people here. And not just in Sky Valley, but, you know, Raven County, and say, hey, here's some people if you're looking to go down to the Gulf Coast, which is 7 hours, probably down depending on where you're going. But they're very excited. They, you know, so we're gonna have a real estate, part of my stuff report that I'll do every month. We'll have a little real estate in terms of what we're gonna do. So they are gonna get in touch with a lot of real estate people down there. And we're gonna come up with different social media aspects, different articles. These people, as you know, put out these little magazines that have the homes listed. So we're gonna be hopefully a part of that. And then we're gonna do some reverse marketing and help them. So that's what they get excited about. Certainly they want to sell some stuff. I'd like to get Joey and his wife back up here sometime spring. He was actually in North Georgia last week. Was that when it was? Yeah, last week when it was 10 degrees. So we didn't make it over here. So it's just not going to be worth the effort. But we've been talking about this for a while now, so it's already in motion. So I'm excited about this. I think this is going to be a good region for us to go after in terms of trying to sell homes, lots, let people know about Raven County. So certainly going to include Explore Raven in that aspect of what we're doing. So excited about this. So I just thought it was time to put a little more effort on real estate and continue what we're doing. You know, got some other good things coming up. Like I said, y'all all know I go down to Orlando every year, talk to a lot of media people. So want to bring some new people up here. I had one guy that very big golf writer. So get on and get me down to the coast. I want to get him up here in North Georgia. He's got tons of contacts, and when he does something, he sends it out. He just did something over did Jekyll, and he sent it out probably to 20 other media marketing people. You know, his copy and articles that he did. So would love to get him up here. So that's again one of my top things I want to do for 2025. So excited, still moving forward. Some things that, you know, I'll be able to share more after I get back from the PGA show and talking to some of these people. So excited again, appreciate your support for 2024. All are wonderful. Trust me, it's a highlight of my month when I can, since I've had a bad year, to be able to drive to Sky Valley and just take my time and, you know, and then get up here. Not that I stay a lot, or long, but it is. So it's been a pleasure to work with all of y'all, and certainly we want to help.
One of the things we talked about is a future, in this case here, the timeshare is joining us.
Yeah.
Do you see any extra effort in this case here? How do we market work with the timeshare people?
We talked about that a little bit the other day, so we certainly appreciate you guys coming in. We think we certainly can help. I think there's probably a way we can do stuff, either a lot of ways we can do stuff. Promote you guys, and probably need to sit down and talk, and that can get some of my ideas and how we do and how do we get, a phone number that we can make sure that people do stuff. Here you go, play and stay type things. We automatically have some things now. I know we had some concerns, that we want to make sure that when we start this, that these golfers come up here and they have a great experience from, you know, the time they walk in the door to the time they leave. And after that, we want to tell them about other people. So I don't know what we can do. I don't know what the situation is with the condos or whatever, the townhomes, whatever you call this, units, to make sure that they're. There you go. There's a great word to use too. So, we want that. So we have had a concern that we want to make sure that the golfers, you know, they don't expect the Ritz-Carlton, but you know, we don't want Motel 6 either. So we wanted to, it's, when I tell you somebody, I want to bring somebody up here to see me, media people, there's nothing better than having somebody come up here and see it, touch it, feel it. And then that way, they don't just go back and tell people now, they tell people next year and the next year. And so that's what we do with golfers. I know there's groups that come from Oklahoma or whatever, that keep coming back every year. That's what we want to do with these golfers, so we can help them fill up the course and not only, you know, do things around the, and we'll work with CJ too on this, to let them know what all's available, what all, there's other places to eat in the area, things to do. Bring the family, we're playing golf, they're zip lining, whatever. So probably right after first, let's maybe talk and come up with a time that we can all talk with you guys, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and, let's come up with some ideas. I certainly can tell you what we can do. This is kind of what we're doing because, Explore Rayburn, and I have partnered. That's the reason we did the TV show, little thing that Nelson came up here and did. And so that would be my first suggestion, and let's just talk and get your ideas. Let's get some concerns, maybe, you know, everybody can get on. It don't have to be just Gordon, but you know, so because we need you, we needed you, okay. And I think if we can really put a package together, we can show people, hey, here it is. Here's a great place. There's, you know, you come and play golf, but you can't stay here unless you do your own, you know, things. But oh no, here we go. We've got these. There's our timeshare. However, they go to the website, they can look at different things, want to have one number they can call, get all the reservations done, everything, make it simple. Golfers make it simple. So when and then how do we get them? Is there other places on your website that they could go to and type in stuff and whatever? Because golfers who are coming to play golf are looking not only here, but they're looking up in Highlands and Cashiers and Atlanta and other places to do this. So we've got to be competitive and we've got to be on the ball and get back to these people, because our travel company, Sky Valley is a part of it. So we've got people, you know, from that, at least certainly, but we haven't been able to really promote, hey, we got this great stay and play program. You can stay right here on property. So that's one thing that we've all been talking about for years, and we just need to, you know, slowly get it in, and whatever y'all need to do, we'll certainly be able to help you. My arm is just gonna help promote it outside, and let's get some more people inside, so you're see your good return on your investment, put here. So that would be my idea, because we talked about it the other day on the phone.
Good. Any comments, committee? Great, thank you. Next item would be the visitor fact sheet. Sherry put that up. She puts it together. There's a lot of input, and you can look at, hand it out, look at the updated one, see what it is, and I can look at it, and if you approve, committee, then we're gonna This will be at the handout, of course, something can change. A lot of input went into it.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you can tell us, Sharon, how the changes you made on it, we're going at.
The only changes that were made were, the information Jim shared about
Yeah.
the, where's that? I think it's on the second to last page, maybe. Yeah, under lodging and entertainment. Under here, explore the natural wonders of Sky Valley, and kind of just bullet pointed the things that were, that he iterated about. So, see what y'all think about that. That's on page 3, the bottom.
This will be on the website and then it'll be handouts, correct? As we come in.
Correct, yes.
People come in, typically they ask questions, all these questions about Sky Valley, I think they should answer most of it. Very well done. I like the photos. You do it? Comments on it, committee, you like it?
I think it'll be very informative.
Definitely. She does a great job.
Yes, she does. I like the photos. I like the back page. You up condense that into education options. We looked at different areas. I like the photo. You can see it. Very impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jim, you're exploring natural wonders of Sky Valley. Very nice. They condensed a little bit, but still. Yeah, but it's there.
Did a great job with that.
Yeah, yes, you did. Yes,
Sitting down.
yes.
So we're good with it?
Maybe?
Good.
This,
I don't know. Very good. And we can add this as it goes along. This is something. Go ahead.
so when we look at lodging.
Yeah.
Office, township, the hotel, a motel at the bottom, you know,
That used to be the west, yes.
that they remodeled, because I stayed there.
Oh, yeah?
Rather than open my place when I came up last year. I spent like 3 days there. And
Pretty
it was,
nice.
it was okay. I mean, they had breakfast. And,
Well, I think I would like to add, up there specifically, because it says rentals and hotels are nearby, but I would also like to put timeshares link there.
yeah, so I mean,
Okay, I'll add that.
maybe have we solicited any support from the motel down here? They,
I don't know anything about them.
I called a different owner when we were looking at, one time Douglas was trying to get together packages, bulk packages, and he was very much into it. Working with us and giving us, discount, trying to work together, if a package coming, so, yes.
I mean, you got what? There's got motels down in Dillard.
Well, Dillard does. I mean,
And Dillard-
I've been talking to John. We're gonna partner up and do stay in plays with Dillard House next year, because they're remodeling, but they're not remodeling everything at once.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do like one hotel room remodel, the ones that are open and just kind of work their way down, so.
I mean, would a visit down to some of these motels be in order to talk with them? Maybe they may want to help participate in with us.
Okay.
I am, talking to the revenue manager for the company that bought Dillard House. So, because I wanna bring some media people up there as well, working again with CJ, in terms of that, so they're very excited about what we can do to help them. They're in the process of, redoing the restaurant right now, so, I don't know when that's gonna reopen. We were supposed to talk last week and it didn't work out. I was trying to get, Joey to get over there and it just not gonna work out. And it probably worked out good, so he didn't get to see the mess of the.
One thing to consider is if they stay in Dillard, Dillard gets that 8%.
Yeah, that's the only thing is
Yeah.
if you start marketing to these hotels and all the people stay there, all your Airbnb people and all that tax stuff is out the window.
Yeah, because, you know.
It
the
doesn't
city
help the
has
timeshare.
8%.
Oh, yeah, we definitely want them.
They-
We need to mark this first.
Yeah, I'm gonna the timeshares, then we can see what we wanna do right later, because, I mean, I could, in the Dillard House,
Some stuff's on the, isn't it?
the nearest hotels are 4 miles away, but then I'll add, but, because y'all are gonna do nightly, right? Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so somebody just wanted, you don't have to be a member, I can come stay 2 nights or 4
yeah, we
nights.
already do that now,
Oh, perfect.
yes.
How many units do you have available?
It just kind of depends. We have a lot of units that are owned during the summer, and then we're having some issues here in the winter, solely because it's cold and we don't have the skiing meeting. So, share around that time specifically to ski, and so since not that anymore, a lot of people are getting back and they think it's too cold. They get over with the snow, the patchwork, mountains as well.
So it's
So it really
definitely.
just
a slow
depends,
time.
yeah, the winter's slower for us.
I ran into another guy, first thing he said out of his mouth, didn't I used to be the place where you could ski?
Yes, we get that a lot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Raises the issue with me, though. I also like to see us marketing to a hotel in Sky Valley proper.
Yes.
There's interest there, and these demographics become very relevant in terms of their consideration. And they're out looking. I can only speak to Central Florida, but I would think, of course, we might be in a little bit of a competition with the resort, Dillard Resort to some degree, but I still think it's gonna be, from our perspective, as far as the golf and visitors, it's an area, I think the marketing committee ought to continue to be touching that base and continuing to establish rapport, and keeping them informed as to our demographics. The potential, whether it's Marriott or whether it's an independent group, but just kind of, touch that base and keep it on the forefront.
Well, yeah, if they could stay in Sky Valley, that and drive to a restaurant. And I mean,
Well, we'd also pick up some taxes too.
yeah, so I mean, it's just, it makes sense.
You said most of the golfers, they'd rather stay in Sky Valley?
I would think, yeah, but they're not gonna go up and down that hill.
They would prefer to stay here.
You know, they're right here and they have everything right here and, I'm sure there's some things we can offer to them as well when they come up, but most golfers, Ryan can attest this, they just wanna play golf. They wanna eat and play golf. Play around, sit poker and sit around, and do whatever they wanna do, that's all
I
they
mean,
wanna do.
especially these golf groups, we've had this discussion all the time, but if they stay in Sky Valley, they stay in Airbnbs and they're spread out all over the place, they wanna be all together. I mean, if there was a hotel or just something that they can all stay together and not have to drive down the hill, or they can go drinks or dinner or stuff like that, and not have to worry about who's driving home and all that other crap. That's the toughest thing. It's just not having a place for.
But if they play at the course, members for a day.
That back room, they play cards and whatever. and hang out.
Well, we use the corner, as like a public and members like lounge. Expand the hours and do some different stuff in there next year, so.
Yeah, we're looking at expanding the operation to incorporate more golfers as far as lunches, and of course, be open to the public and anyone else, but, that's being looked at.
You open it to the public and
No,
No, not the club, but maybe possibly expanding and creating another 19th hole that would be open all week for lunches and that sort of thing. But, Ryan's working on it, but I just share that with you. We're not there yet, but we're looking at it.
That's good.
We're also getting 12 more carts next year, because we're expanding golf play, so, and we run out of carts almost every Thursday, Friday, Saturday through the summer. by 1 o'clock, so we're getting 12 more, so we can actually fulfill all these groups and all the stuff we have, so we're leaning into it hard. As far as expansion.
Some things that I hear, just to pass on whatever, everybody I talk to in terms of knowing that I work with you guys, they absolutely love the golf course. They, I mean, that's the first thing out of their mouth. Oh, that course is always in great shape, everybody knows it's green and that's, so I know y'all work hard to keep that, and I'm like, this is like the best course up in North Georgia,
No, I mean, that's a lot of the reason for this Dillard House partnership that we're trying to work on, is
Yeah.
they refer people to us and Kingwood. But Kingwood is right down the road, so they would just send people to Kingwood, but they're having so many issues over there, and of course, it's junk, they want to avoid it altogether.
Well, our golf course stays green year round.
I mean, it's in certain, right, the other day I was out there, it's like in
Oh,
the best shape it's been in.
Yeah, I played the other
It's
day.
December.
Awesome. I played.
Yeah, I played golf the other day for the first
Oh,
time in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I need to come up here and play now.
Yes.
Not when it's 13, but. Yeah.
Well, good, then, I guess it's time we approve, this will be a work in terms of the fact sheet, obviously we'll update it as it goes along, so great. All right, next item on the agenda would be timeshares, just to update, Danielle, John, Ken, whatever you would like to add. Timeshares. Any updates at all?
What kind of look is that?
Yeah.
He's nervous.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
nervous.
Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Being in the hot
We're
seat makes me nervous.
we're just a bunch of old men. No problem.
We've actually upgraded some of our, units as far as decking goes. I know that we have a couple now that are in process of remodeling as far as going into the units. We actually finished one, unit, La Costa A, we completely redone the decking, all we have to do is the railing. Wingfoot, the front porches we just got a permit for that, so that is actually in process, we're trying to get that done between now and next week. And we have sawgrass that we're trying to update on the front decking as well. I know that in Cypress Point, we are looking at quoting, getting the carpet out and redoing the flooring, we are painting the units. So there's some small remodeling going on.
Which group is that?
For Cypress Point, right now. Cypress Point is our main focus right now.
Sure. When we start to these packages, we're gonna have different pricing, because I'm just gonna throw it, if sawgrass is better than Tupelo, whatever.
I mean, yes, so we only have 6 walk-in units, so we try to promote those first because people are older. So, and those are straight walk-in units, so they don't have as many steps, they probably have like 2 or none. So, we try to promote those first, and they're 2 bedrooms as well, so I think that those are La Costa and Eagles Nest are probably the first 2 on the list. Cypress Point would probably be my third, solely because they are bigger units, they have a lot of potential, it's just getting them up to par.
Do the timeshares, do you guys own some units? Just
The
straight up?
presidents do, the
Straight up?
presidents own in some of the units, associations. So in order to be a president, you have to own within that association.
Or
To be
all
on
the,
the board as
did
well.
all the associations vote to continue the timeshare?
Yes, they did. So we're moving forward for the next 10 years.
How many units do you have, 10 or 11 now, or?
We have 73 units. So we-
73, how many buildings do you have?
11.
You have 11, okay, so there's 11 association, 11 presidents?
No, 5 presidents,
5 presidents.
11 associations, 73 units.
11 buildings,
73 units
73 units,
and 5 presidents.
5 presidents.
So when we get to the point after we talk in January, maybe come up and look at everything, and maybe the committee does a timeshare walkthrough, and I don't mean test the paint on the wall.
Right.
Just for our head, okay, here you go, here's sawgrass, okay, this is what we can do here, let's go down, here we can do this here. So we all have to understand, because this is gonna be a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen overnight, we understand that. But I certainly need to know everything
Yeah,
that's going on,
for sure.
okay? And these guys, I'm sure all wanna, be able to see and kind of be familiar with what we're doing, because you guys are gonna, in terms of, you're gonna go to the top of the list in terms of what we need to do.
Yeah, we're trying to move as fast as we
We've been
can.
waiting, and that's okay. Again, don't panic. Don't let John panic. So, anyway, but that's good, because when it's a little warmer in early spring or something, that we can, come up and, and just have the meeting as a walk, part of the meeting as a walkthrough, and we'll meet you over there. So,
Curtains and bonds have been ordered as well, so like some of that old stuff can,
yeah, that'd be great.
yes, it
Yeah.
brightens it up a little bit.
Yeah, and if you have on your website pictures of the units that you'll be renting.
Yes, and we do, and
And
we're updating them as we are updating the units.
it just, I mean, if you're going, if we say, okay, this is where I need to go, this is where you need to go. Make it a sale.
Yeah,
Say, here it is, this is this is where you'll be staying.
yes,
And we have to do veterans,
yes,
so, I mean, it makes sense.
yes. The biggest units that we have are 2 bedrooms with a loft, so,
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
So's a guy in cashier, so's a guy in Atlanta, so's a guy, when you gotta sell it.
yes,
Trust me, I fuss at all the people, and I got big companies in the state of Georgia. And they get an inquiry that I send them, and they email them, and I just scream, and I said, what? You got their phone number, you got the email, you got everything you need, call them, make that personal relationship right then. I'm talking about you,
Yeah.
whoever's gonna do it. But no, I've got these, and I've talked to the state of Georgia, who has all the state parks, and working with them, and they're getting 5, 6, 7, because they put this out. They've had 8 guys right here wanna go play golf, in North Georgia, and they put you in charge. And you're looking at all these different places, and you put out inquiries over all these different places. And if you get 7 voicemails, and you get 1 email, that email's out the door. You're gonna talk to John or Debbie or whoever, because you got a personal relationship. Oh, yeah, we got a great, we've got this right down the street, we got this, and we can help you.
What's your new website, Benjamin?
it's timesharesofskyvalley.com, and I can send you the link too if you need me to.
I had it, I just couldn't remember how it started.
Yes, timeshares of
Because I was gonna show you that.
timesharesofskyvalley.com.
I have it up, we've done some nice things.
Dan, you said that vote was for 10 years, so you guys will go on for 10 years, or that's?
The contract is for 10 years.
Good.
So we're hoping to make a lot of in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And we understand that, we're certainly excited, because we've certainly talked about timeshares.
I'm excited and to see the people that come by, just seeing our guys out there working on, they get excited, so it's exciting, I feel.
Well, and we wanna, every time we bring, which is not that often, but every time we bring some media people, we want them to, you stay there or make sure they see as
Yes.
much as they can while we're here.
Yes.
Cause we wanna blow that out of the water, and I'll explain some more stuff to you when we talk, how we wanna do
And
it.
I also think that they're gonna be putting, I know there's some discussion, we have this sheet, this little packet that we have together for restaurants that are in Clayton and Dillard and Highlands and Franklin that we've been updating, here and there, but I'm hoping that once we get their approval on it, we can actually put it on our website so people can see, and it'll have the numbers listed and kind of the city where it's at, where it's located.
Which one should I click on?
That's not up there yet.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, which unit would be one for us to just glance
Look
at?
at Sawgrass C. I don't know if he's actually. Right there to go down. It's a 1 bedroom, so,
This one?
yeah.
Oh, no.
He just listed all the,
And I thought, no, somewhere you have it where I looked inside of them.
yeah,
I looked at the website and got a bunch of photos, and it does have
I got
the
this one.
size of the units.
Oakmont G has been completely remodeled.
That's all my wife cares about when we go. If she doesn't have a big long counter in the bathroom, so she put all her makeup and hairspray and all this stuff. You think I'm kidding, but if I had to, I looked in the bathroom, I can't put my stuff in that bathroom. We could be at Niagara Falls, and she don't like,
Yes.
Okay, so as you get those updated.
Very good.
He's supposed to be coming up, Eric Owens is a guy that developed the website, he's supposed to be coming up personally and taking pictures and stuff as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Neil. It's exciting things. Great. We'd love to hear the positive news.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, next item is, new items, marketing, possibly new program for 225. And the next item, of course, is the budget. Anything else we're talking about? Marketing programs, anything you'd like to say or do? And of course, this would be part we could hopefully incorporate in our budget discussion. Things such as magazines or, you know, or maybe some other areas we
I'm
should.
sure there's more opportunities for advertising we're able to do.
Yes, right.
My biggest comment on the budget was I was thrilled to see that we're putting more money into putting up the people that Doug finds to put up to Sky Valley. Because I think that's really one of the most important things that we're doing.
I agree.
And I think it just pays dividends in all sorts of ways.
and I can get on a rotating cycle, but it's not like these people, I told you, these people want it.
Yeah.
Because they've heard from other people, we wanna get some of the same people back because, you know, it's new things or whatever. So it's our ability to say, okay, if we can handle this, but we can have them come up here and this will be a huge marketing thing for 25. So,
I'd like to incorporate my earlier comments on the hotel. I think if we start to communicate with some of these developers, they know they got a marketing committee that's interested and behind them, and Sky Valley's behind them, and then if we can accumulate more of this data for them, depending on where we go with that, or maybe, you know, Forward Raven may have there just may be a lot of information out there. It's amazing, and I've worked with developers, I've represented them in Florida, but if they find that there's a community that's, whether it's a town or a county, that's interested in having them come, it makes a big difference. Now, I'm not saying we've got the demographics today, but we establish that rapport and we start to continue to communicate with them in hopes that, you know, maybe, and, you know, because if it goes like we think it's gonna go, there'll be plenty of residents or occupancy for the timeshares, but there's also an opportunity for Sky Valley to have its own hotel in the sense of being located in Sky Valley.
That's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
Ryan, have you worked with the people who were talking about doing some stuff over there? The developers that.
No, I mean, I've heard a bunch of rumors, but
I know Holly, I even asked Holly, you know, can I meet these guys, talk to these guys to kind of share what you're saying? We ain't got anywhere, but I don't think it's because she don't want to, it's, I want to tell them. But she said, oh yeah, they're talking about having a little restaurant and maybe a 24-room unit type maybe, and this, and a little retail section, you know, over there in the parking lot next to the lodge.
yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, one of our members that lives in South Florida is a developer. He's been trying to get hold of Merrill to buy some of that land and do something like that. But from what he's told me is what they want for the land, developers won't touch it because they can't make any money off of that. They want so much money for all that land and they're not willing to budget. So I don't know if Merrill's got his own deal going or they're trying to just sit on it until it becomes a necessity. But what he said, he's like, I've got a lot of ideas, but I'm not gonna pay what he wants for that land.
Right.
Because I won't make any money off it for 10 years.
That's his way of saying that I don't wanna, I'm gonna develop this myself, but they're so pokey.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard so many different rumors and none of them ever come to fruition, so. Definitely a good spot.
We could get something like that. Here, this place would be huge draw.
Yeah.
Well, their own little community. you know.
Guys, I gotta run to another meeting at 11:30 at the clubhouse, so.
Okay, I do want to, I do want you to look at, the budget, you get a chance.
Yeah, no, I got it. We're good.
You're good at that. I'm gonna try to, one of these, we'll go into it. Any other new program ideas, or I just wanted to possibly incorporate those into the budget. So otherwise, we'll go right into the budget now. Can you hang on just a second?
Yeah, I've got a parking lot paving meeting at 11:30, so.
I want to do that. Well, don't continue your other way. Any other comments you'd like to make?
Can I mention one thing?
Yes.
At the chapel, we're going through painting, repair, we're gonna spend,
There you go, there's a check,
thank you, bud,
just for you.
but we're gonna spend probably $35,000.
Well, that won't cover
But, Sharon is helping us right now. We've got these paintings that we're going to put out for auction. And, we're excited about what we're doing. We, of course, appreciate all the support we can get. Obviously, this auction is not gonna pay for all the paint and the work, but, we do have the funds to take care of things. So, you look at Sky Valley, you look at the chapel, it's on everything, and we're trying to keep it where it looks good, not only on the outside, but also we wanna do some remodeling on the inside too. you know.
Just real quick, cause I gotta. I agree, that's why when she sent me that stuff and I looked at it and I'm like, well, I'm not buying paint. I asked her, can I donate? She said, sure. So I said, why? Because it's the pinnacle of what is down there in the valley. So, and the bells and chimes. and
We're taking
all that.
care of it.
All right, get Ryan out of here.
All right. Any other comments on it besides we go into it? Let's,
I keep thinking about how we're gonna use
the budget, we're gonna put on a budget,
What's Ryan's part?
You want a motion, Mr. Chair? Yeah, I mean,
Check Ryan.
I looked through it, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I looked there, I don't even want.
Yeah.
okay,
You want a
there,
motion?
and I'm out there.
Yeah, I still motion, I'll second it, also next.
No, this is, okay, keep on, hand it out.
Yeah.
What we're doing here,
I've already
Again. This is a preliminary budget, and what I want to do is, this is something your input on it, I put down a preliminary, and if you look at it, you can see overall, first of all, I can see, I went from 2023 to 24 budget and actual, and then 2025 budget, the actual. Now, in going through it, I want to basically, the first part is the contributions, and the second part is if you look at is expenses, and then the back page, this goes into, there's an area that talks about total expenses, and then you talk about miscellaneous expenses. Miscellaneous expenses are essentially at this point, unallocated funds so far, and at this point, I think it's better if we can go ahead and allocate as much of the funds. So my goal is that we vote on this budget and then approve it, and then bring it to the city for approval in the January meeting. And they'll go along with it. I'd rather go ahead and approve all along, and if we approve it and then they approve it, then we don't have to go back on it. So that's essentially what it is. So the more information we can give to the city, then they can go in and approve it. So we don't have to go back into it. So quickly, let's go into the budget itself. Monetary contributions, you see 2025. Jason suggested that at this point, we're looking at 5,000 from monetary contributions from the city, POA, the club, and timeshares. So that comes out a total of 20,000. And then we have checking account balance carryover. And then essentially what that means is, Jason, we look at from our budget of 2024 actual, in terms of our budget and what we actually spent, there's a carryover of about $6,400, 404. So the plan is I had, let's take that money and carry it over, okay? So that would be total funds available of 26,404. That is what's available. Now, there is, in terms of the checking account, we still have an additional area here, the checking account, for around $4,000. I have it down. You can talk about it in the checking account. If we take it in, at the end of the year, if we estimate, Jason, maybe you can talk a little bit about the checking account, the available balance, if we went ahead at this point. And then
You don't know.
checking,
$6,000 that you're talking about is not what's in the bank account. $6,000 is what you have not spent
That's
to this
exactly
year's
right.
budget.
right,
There's actually more than $6,000 in the bank
yeah,
account.
we have it, just to go into it, the checking account, we have a balance of $10,420. Essentially in the additional checking account, that is after we took out, I got the statement on it, we took out estimated cost, so we're looking at $10,420 in the checking account at this point. If we take out of that checking account unspent funds of $6,404, we have approximately $4,016 left over in the checking account. Am I making sense? What I'm trying to say is that if we spent everything as we go through this expense item, we would still have we'd have $4,016 left over. But we've shown this last year, this 2024, that we haven't spent everything that we projected to spend. And I don't expect to do that. We've been very frugal and we watch what we're doing. We don't wantonly, spend money. So the first question, I want to make sure everyone understands what this funds available for marketing expenses are.
I would like you to, mention that, but if we're adding something, I mean, I see that you used to pay for part of the Fall Fest shirts.
Yes, I'll go into I want to go into the expenses next. So, yeah, I'll show, I'll show what it is. So in terms of monetary contributions, do we agree, does it make sense what we have going in? And do you agree with carrying the unspent funds from this year over?
Yeah, I think it's sure, it's logical, I mean,
Jason, any comments on that at all?
No, I mean, it's that number is pretty close. Obviously, we still have 2 weeks left.
Yes, right.
But yeah, I mean, it's essentially what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be presenting a total to the council.
Yes.
And then they're gonna approve that total, and then y'all have in the past, the council's given y'all the flexibility to spend that money
Yes.
accordingly.
Yes.
So, I think that's the important thing to look at as far as the January meeting is what is the total that you're asking them to approve?
Okay.
And then, meaning that I don't think y'all necessarily have to approve every line item today,
Yes.
because the budget can change, but, if the 26,404 is what you're thinking you want to present to the council in January, and that's step one, and that's, everything else kind of flows from there.
Okay. So looking at, in terms of expenses, then let's go down to the next item, expenses. Looking at golf life, let's take it individually, it shouldn't take too long, we don't have that many, so I'd like to go over it if you would. The community, essentially, Jason broken down expenses under communications. Under communications, we have golf life, and there's 9,000 in 2003. And last time it was 9,720, and this year, Doug has not increased the price. So I asked Doug if our price, and he says, no, we'll keep it the same. So the price, that is our number going in. That's their biggest budget item. And then we talk about other photography I had done. Yeah, this could change, but in case we put in this last year a budget of 500, but we didn't need it. In case something special might come up, do you want to have some special events where we have some money set aside for photography? I didn't put a lot of money, and I thought maybe, we're good, we got a lot of photos, we never had anything before, so that's the reason for it. It might not be spent, but if something comes up. So our subtotal for communications is $10,220. I think that's in line. Then we go down to advertising. Now, I went on Travcom, and they publish this every other year. It's visitor map, and everyone agreed that this map's a pretty good idea. But a lot of people still use maps. They still like the written portion. So there's a ad on it, and that Travcom map costs, in this case, full page, yeah, $650. So, and they did it every year, so they, 10,000, it's a big distribution on that, so that dropped, and Mountain Lake Publishing, maybe you can talk a little bit about this. They have, 3 editions a year, I think they do a great job with the cost in it, their price is gonna stay the same, $14.55. Then we got Clay Tribune, in this case here, Mountain Traverse, that was a 2 edition one, and they're going to go up a little bit, $1,440. Then we have Raven County Travel Guide. I guess, last year we didn't show it because we spent the money in advance, so based on cost, it looks like it's gonna be the same, $435. There was a Mountain Fall Festival, this was a hit list. We decided not to do that last year. Clay Tribune, Business Line, $75, Cost for Life, $75. That's just something they had, I think that's calendar ad. Yeah, and the other advertising, so right now, in terms of total advertising, last year we're at $2,783, this year would be $4,110. Now, do you want to add, is there anything you want to add on at this point? Do you have any specific thing to add to it? Comments on it? Okay, so do we go to the next item? General supplies and materials, hay bale materials, you see the cost there over time. We spent last year or this year, $243. I put in $350. I think, hay bale materials, visitor goodie bag banners. There's a case where, we put in budget $250 and we didn't spend anything and we want $600. Well, essentially what happened here is that, a lot of that was spent, it charged off for the club, but in this case, it's small items, and might have goodie bags and so forth. I thought something could hand out. The other thing, ideas you might want to have for goodie bags, this would be a handout in terms of the city or the visitor center. So that we might put in some special promotion of $600. And then so a total subtotal for general supplies and materials is $950. Then we get into Sky Valley promotions. This is we're getting into special area fall festival t-shirt. I got $500. Well, back in 2002, we spent $300 and that's where we got into it. That was the case where they asked, can we help, how can we promote Sky Valley? So we put down the logo, the Sky Valley, City of Sky Valley on the t-shirt, offset the price by $300, therefore it made the price of the t-shirts less. I know one of their members came up and said, yeah, I think that was a great idea. So we didn't do this last year or this year, and I think maybe do something like that. If you have ideas on it, so we can help $500, a logo or whatever it is on the, I think it's nice that everyone runs around with these beautiful t-shirts and has City of Sky Valley on it somehow. Advertising, yeah. Comments on that at all? Yes.
Well,
Do you think $500 or more or less or
for the
what?
fall fest, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But, you know, since I've been here, each year, we've kind of created just a new Sky Valley t-shirt.
Okay,
And it would be nice to have some help with that if possible, because they get quite
Fourth of
expensive.
July too. You said the 4th of
Okay.
July.
Yeah.
so we're talking, all right, we have some money under miscellaneous, so tell us what you like.
Well, if 4th of July, we could get 500, that'd be great.
So we have 500 there.
Maybe 500, 500, 500. 500 for 4th of July, 500 for the fall fest, and 500 for.
So that'd be $1,500.
You pull 1,000 for miscellaneous and 40 for the fall fest.
Yeah, that would take it out of miscellaneous, that's all we do. So suggestions at this time, okay. Fall Fest, we call that t-shirts, what do you want to call it? Fall Fest,
Just t-shirts.
t-shirts? Shirts.
Yeah.
And you want to make that 1,500?
I mean, that's,
I think let's make that 1,500 instead of 500. And so golf tournaments, this is where several years ago, golf tournaments, notice we got $1,500 down. The idea of that was they were trying to help reduce the golf packages. Something was very competitive. I guess when you go out and you give these packages, golf tournaments, they look at price a lot. So we offered a small amount of money to the club, in this case, to help them defray the cost. So they got a look, in this case here, it wound up
the cost per round was less. And they said, why the Sky Valley marketing, well, all these people coming in, they're spending money, meals, that and so forth. It was a marketing area. So that's what we did. We thought it was effective. Now, they didn't use it. We put in a budget of $1,250 last year and then they didn't use it, so.
Now, they're coming back though this year, right, Jack?
Yeah.
So this was, last year they didn't come here, and it was the Mississippi Conference.
Yes, that was true, yeah.
And
I heard they had a bad experience.
they did.
They're coming back.
Ah,
They're back.
So the comment there is, do we go out, we're helping, bring in, the club bring in items here, and, is that something we should, encourage? Because obviously when they come in there, they're buying meals, they're doing other things.
Well, then we lower their cost. They give them
Yes.
like a group.
Yes.
Right, yeah. And so the city contributed to that. So I mean, if you change, because you're talking about making some changes on operations down there, then, they can drive more for the food, and, they can use the restaurant, which they always did when they were up here.
Yeah.
They always used the club. And they had their own event, they had they close off the room. So
Right.
makes sense.
So, question there
Just
is,
to elaborate on that, this was,
Yeah.
we've got the church. Golf carts going
Bless
in
Bob.
there, you got people coming in there. And that's where we want to look at expanding that to create some more outside seating and then ultimately, people love a hamburger. But then you get to the health department, you gotta go through all of all of that to do that. But we're looking at that, looking at more of an opportunity for more casual lunches there, open to the public, of course.
yes,
And make it more accommodating to the golfers.
yeah. Do we see this item in terms of golf tournaments, trying to make it attractive? Do we want to keep that plan I have made or not?
I almost would rather put it in the goodie bags,
Oh, make them
you know,
nicer.
so that after they get home, they've still got something.
Okay,
I don't think it's a very high visibility thing
okay.
to reduce the cost of putting on the
Okay.
tournament.
Again, the club didn't approach us last year or 2 years ago. It was 2022 they did. So, okay, so you want to eliminate that. Okay, I agree with that. Comments?
Just a comment.
Okay. Well, we could look back into, the next item with the, golf goodie bags. We have golf goodie bags, I put on $200 to $89. In this case here, we put together goodie bags, but, the golf tournament wasn't here. So maybe we could, we now have the golf goodie bags here and it cost, approximately $289 to put together the goodie bags for this tournament that didn't happen.
That's for, towards ladies.
Yes. So, could we?
Yeah, we didn't have. They didn't have enough to sign.
Yes. And so I don't have an issue at all with taking that money. If we put it back, the $1,500 into goodie bags or area like that. We'll go back into Mia's cleaning, housing, media, and gift apparel. I think several years ago, $307, $300, we budgeted $300, we had $80. And I put in $480. It really is nice if you got some of these media. I'm a big proponent of these media people coming in and giving them a nice shirt. And they'll be done, and they wear it proudly with the Sky Valley on it. Just Doug, you're talking, is this effective? Having something like this or?
Oh, yeah, no, the media guys love, wearing, I see them wearing shirts from everywhere.
They really go out and look at them and, they come in at one time and, of course, we have to have the media people here for that. But I think that having a nice club, t-shirt or a shirt or wherever it is, and they're walking around with it, that's marketing.
Yeah.
So that's where the $400 would come in. Now, Neil's cleaning, hosting media, and you're gonna see a big bump on that. We used 2023, we had $400, we budgeted $1,300, we only had $100 to charge off this year. Well, what's happening in this media? During the cost, the club is absorbing the cost of meals, and but that's great, and individuals are, and then in terms of the housing, and this is a kid who built nice, he's giving us free housing. And, you know, we keep on going to the well all the time, and he's not charging us. The only thing he charges us when I ask him $100 for cleaning. And then the meals is another area, the club is taking care of all the meals. I propose, again, let's really do it right. When these people get it, you show them what it is, and we have done it right, is say we had hosting media or someone else, maybe it's not media or something like that would come in. We had 3 visits, 2 nights, we had 6 nights of the media coming in at $200 a night, that's $1,200 in this would be hotel cost. And then cleaning, 3 cleanings, $125, that's $400. And I said, possibly we should be paying or the committee should be paying for some of the meals. If we had 8 meals, breakfast, $20, 25, 8 meals, and dinner, $90, we'd have $1,080 a meal. So that's how I come up with an area of $2,680. This would be media, or if someone else would come up, maybe from Raven County, wanted to see the area. And instead of the club having to come in and they're paying for it all, should we possibly help out by that?
What about you need media to stay at the timeshare?
Yes, exactly, yes. Or we could really help the timeshare.
That's what,
and
you
sort
know,
of-
you're trying to drive it that way,
Yes.
that's what we need to do.
Yes. And in this case here, in case the timeshare, help them out. Instead of that, always asking for a handout, if we have a little bit of money set, not a lot of money, but some money, that we can give them a couple $100 a night.
Sure. And now the timeshare is contributing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I would want, as I said earlier, want to put them in the timeshares first.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But like you said, those units need to be.
Yeah.
And if we had, say, a welfare.
That would be something, excuse me,
Yes,
that would be something we would relate way in advance.
that's very
Yes.
good.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be 3 weeks, I mean.
Yeah, typically, the first thing I
A
do,
couple months, good thing, or whatever,
typically, the first thing I do if they're coming in, of course, don't hesitate, and I've got to contact people who's available. I've even gone to individuals and asked if we use their condos, and they've done this, you know. But it would be ideal if we had, you know, the timeshares. So we could stay at the timeshares, and maybe we could have a very nice welcome fruit basket, I don't know, something there, bottles of water, or something that really. Like,
I'm getting some.
yeah, getting something like that, a little present for the, little extra things, just we have, not a lot of money, but a little extra, that makes a difference, a little touch, nice.
If they stay at the timeshare and they put the word out, they drive more people back to the
That's right.
timeshare. So I mean, you know, it's only good business to do something like that, you know, so.
So looking at, back to the, it's a simple budget, there's really not a lot there. You see, if we added, if we made a change right now, going back, golf goodie bags, you want to add on, if we took $1,500 out of the golf tournaments, that's, all right, let me go to the second page, your back page. The subtotal promotions is $5,690. Now, if we take $1,500 out, or we put it somewhere else, if we did take out that $1,500, we have a total promotions of $5,690. We total expenses prior to miscellaneous, that's $20,970. Then I go on to miscellaneous expenses, is what? Is the difference between our total budget allocation of funds of $26,404. So, and we have miscellaneous expenses of $5,443. Now, I'm not sure if the city, I've been told that we should have a better idea, do they like us to go ahead, even though it's not their funds, that they have control over, showing $5,434 in miscellaneous, would that go along? It's a larger amount of money versus already showing where we're allocating some of those those are the funds.
I think the council's just gonna approve that total dollar, $26,404.
Well, in the past, they looked at it.
But remember, because at one time, it was very burdened, every expenditure, they had to approve the meeting.
Yes.
And then they went back, I think 2022.
No.
And they said, okay, y'all, this is how much you're asking for, this is what you're gonna get. And then y'all have the fiduciary responsibility to make sure y'all spend appropriately. We account for it in our internal accounting that we use, so with that being said, you say your budget is $20,970, and that leaves $5,400 left over, or you say the budget's gonna be $21,000, you have $4,400 left over. I mean, the bottom line is, I think the focus is gonna be on, where is the money coming from? $5,000 from the city, that's already been approved in the budget. When we approved the budget last month. If you get the commitment from the POA, the timeshare, and the club, there's your $20,000, you got the unspent from this year's budget that carries over.
Okay.
So you can clearly show where it's coming from. And, so you're approved up to $26,404. If somewhere down the line, the POA says, we're gonna give $2,500, and you just reduce that down, but you're gonna approve up to that amount. So that's kind of where you're at. I think that's the way you should focus it. It's just, you're asking for $26,404. And then you got a game plan on how you're gonna spend it, but also you have the flexibility to move money around within that $26,000.
That's what happened the
Yeah.
first time I got on, they didn't have a budget, so I put together a budget. A lot of the budget items, and I had to go back in for additional, I guess, and just give permission to spend the money. And I said, well, we need something where we get the funds approved, and then we have a little flexibility in moving it around.
And the way that you have this now, I think would be appropriate for the council to consider. And then as you have meetings throughout the year, and you find, you know what, we really find that we're spending more on this, then y'all can take those votes as a committee to do those intra-fund moves.
Yeah, I think it's a discretionary thing here.
Okay.
Is it, just if you're saying, okay, this is it, and then if we need to allocate more, that's something that the marketing committee decides on. And it's done at our discretion. They're saying, okay, we approve this is the amount, you don't really have to.
I'll go along with that, because initially they had to approve the expenses, and we got into the issue, well, we're gonna do that each time.
Yeah, very cumbersome.
Multi-year effort.
Yes, we don't need to do it. Yes.
Independence that we needed to do our job.
Yes.
This is a living document, as Jason said, we can amend,
Yes.
as long as we stay within our budget,
Yes.
we can amend this without city
That's
commission
exactly
approval.
what, yes, and prior you could not, you had to go back, yes,
So,
yes, very well. So what changes do you want to make, or you want to stick as is, as you see it, we can, any discussion?
And I think you have it now, just as a placeholder for the council to see,
Yeah,
to approve, and then again, as you get into the year, y'all can have the votes accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jason hit the nail on the head. And we've got an other advertising category with nothing in it.
Yeah.
If we wanted to move its money from golf tournaments into that. which is-
yes, as Jason said, if we possibly go over in this particular area, we might overcharge them money, a goodie bag. Well, we can go back over, it's fun, we're flexible on that, thing. It's not mine. I agree, right.
When I'm here, I hear those.
By hearing, do I hear a motion that, we approve
I
this?
move, Mr. Chair, that we approve
Where
the
you going?
2025 budget as presented.
You want me to sign
What
off?
is the amount again, could you possibly go over that?
$6,404.
Typos I pointed out here.
You moved,
I moved.
Third.
Okay, all in favor, say
Oh,
aye.
we don't, we're,
Okay, all right.
we're next, sorry.
We had a first, and who was the second? All right, any discussion?
Jim.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
approved. Very good.
This should go, we'll have you on the, it's like January 21st, that would be the regular council meeting. And it'll be on the agenda for approval then.
The 21st, okay, should I be there for that or what?
I would say you typically come to those meetings.
Yeah. I'll be there.
That's an organizational meeting, so if there, for example, if there's any changes to the committee members, that would be a time that if somebody comes on or goes off, yeah, that would be a good time to come to that meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. One final item, before the adjournment is or our next, we're talking about any other business we have to discuss, anything else? I'm going over. Next meeting, we're talking about January the 30th. There. 2025. Other item I wanted to talk about, marketing committee members. Here, Holly asked us, she says, each year they have to approve, the city has to approve who's on the marketing committee. I did set something out, and Paul, are you still gonna be on the committee? Are you still gonna be on for 2025?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Harry Collins, I talked to Harry, and he said yes. Ryan said yes. Jack, I'd like to message you for
Yes.
yes. Jim Curtis, I talked to Jim, he's on for yes. Danielle, I did not. I assume you're on for the committee, you'll be on the committee next year.
Yes.
I'd like to, if you'd recommend another member, each of the organizations has, POA has 2 members. And right now we have you down, possibly could have a second one who would be a voting member.
John Robson. He's the treasurer.
So John
He's the money man.
Robinson,
No, Robson,
oh,
ROBSON.
Robinson, okay, John Robinson. So we'll have to add him onto it. Thank you for, again, volunteer to be on the committee, that's great. I love the variety and things we get done, it's fantastic.
We have a good chair.
Yeah, well, that will fly here. Okay, I guess the only other thing we have to do is adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a motion?
So before we go.
Yeah.
Grace has said that she has somebody else in mind for the marketing instead of me. And,
No, we didn't ask you if you want to do this, did you?
You're gonna let her displace you like that?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Are
do
you
you have
out?
a name? Because I have to submit it to,
I thought she'd given you the name. I'll ask her to get that name.
could you give it? If you got it, give it to me, then I'll send it on to the mayor, because he asked that to get that done before the end of the year. Yeah, good. So it looks like you're going to leave the committee or what? I know you've got your hands full. This is.
I imagine he'll find something to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Thank you.
Well, thank you, appreciate your help.
Any other comments we have to have, or?
No.
I think we're
Just adjournment.
just adjourned again. Adjourn, did I say adjourn the meeting?
Sound good?
So moved. Yeah, I did.
Who did it?
So, sorry.
Who said,
Who
who made the
adjourned
motion?
meeting?
Jack did, it was.
Jack and Jim?
Jack seconded.
Jack seconded.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, have a great holiday, Merry
Yes.
Christmas.
All right, thanks, Paul.
No, I'll come back up here on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Put snow up here.